Hey everyone, this is We Called It in a special Christmas themed episode. I don't know what's Christmas themed about it. I just have longer reddish hair, I guess, and a little holiday-ish in my beard with a bright red. But Christmas themed episode because we have special weekend of football starting Saturday, going all the way through Monday night. There's going to be a game on at all times. The red zone's less useful, but you know what? At least you have something to get you through those rough family parties. The rest of the crew is unfortunately unavailable because we are recording much earlier than usual. The good news is Anthony Sardelli is overcoming the evil booger monster to show up, give us his 110%. So if you hear some sniffles and stuff in the background, just know that he's playing through injury to show up. We appreciate it, Anthony. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I went from doubtful to questionable to healthy all of a sudden. But I wasn't
realistically,
like Geno Smith.
It was other players were getting ruled out, and it's a Christian McCaffrey at quarterback situation right now.
I was gonna say I wasn't Geno Smith. I came to play. I'm gonna play, but I'm gonna be like Drew Lock though. I'm gonna come in and secure the dub. So let's get it done this week, boys.
Speaking about securing the dub, that is not something any of us have been good at recently. I think me, you, and Connor have all had rough weeks. Ken has taken position atop the standings in our pick'ems simply by not choosing anything because he's been so busy. So
hey, I went 4-2 last week. I should be moving up a little bit, right?
We are. We're all about even. We're all 54 to 55%. So a good strong finish to the year could make all the difference. You were at 4-2. I have you at 3-3.
3-3. 4-2. All right, maybe I was wrong.
All right, yeah, we'll look at it later. That's not what people want to hear. What they want to hear is about the upcoming games. And starting with Thursday Night Football, New Orleans versus the Rams. Anthony, since it's just the two of us, we're going to be talking about all of the games. So sorry if I forgot to say that earlier. But we are here. Rams are 4-point home favorites, and the total's 46. Completely side note, I really want to go to the Rams Stadium. It looks like one of the coolest places to see a football game. We just watched the Taylor Swift concert on Amazon, and it was filmed there. Anyways, not important at all. Anthony, I don't think either of us have a pick on this game. Anything you're looking for? Actually, you know what? I'm going to drop a pick in while you do this. Anything you want to see in this game particularly?
I think there's going to be a decent amount of scoring, especially if Jameis starts or plays at all. But I think the Rams, they need a win. So do the Saints. Big game for both teams. Thursday night, we think these games kind of stink some of the time, but Thursday's been pretty good lately. Last week, maybe not, but I think the Rams...
What are you talking about? Last week was a reward for everyone. Brandon Staley got fired because of last week.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was such a weird game. But anyways, Cooper Kupp, Kyren Williams, look for them to have big days, and that's just about it there. Stafford's going to be slinging that ball to both those guys, and it's going to be a good game.
Matt Stafford has transformed into, I think it was 2018 Matt Stafford when he had Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate both going for over 1,000 yards. In the last 4 games, he has 12 touchdowns and 1 interception, and his lowest quarterback rating was 103. He is absolutely slicing and dicing teams. I am so happy that we get this is just an NFC team that isn't actually good. They don't have enough talent to be good, but he's making the best of it like he did those Detroit Lion teams. So I am taking the Rams -4 because the Saints, they look awful. I have not been impressed with anything they've done, like offensively or defensively. Even though they crushed the Giants, I don't think that was an impressive win. I feel like that's more the Giants are a collegiate level team, and the Tommy DeVito's thugs weren't able to rough up the Saints down in New Orleans and let them back off and give up an easy W.
Yeah, if he doesn't get hurt in that game, they win that game. I'm still sticking by that, but where's that? What's the sad Italian music? Where that's what happened.
You're the autician. I know that's not an audio expert's name, but I'm going to refer to you as an autician.
How about that's what we do when I get healthy again? I'll just do all the sound effects by myself. I'll be like that one guy.
Spaceballs guy.
Yeah,
I think we've mentioned that already when you were out Mickey Mouse in it.
No, but we definitely need to get that back. Because if DeVito should be a starter somewhere next year. I don't care what anyone says.
He should not be a starter. He's an
Yes, he should.
undrafted rookie who like.
Hey, when Rodgers goes down week 1 next year, they don't want Zach Wilson there. They want DeVito. I wanted to see to play for both
Wilson there
teams.
this year. Enough of a guy that isn't even playing in the game we were talking about. Rams all the way. Aaron Donald's going to be healthy, and Stafford is freaking all-pro Matt Stafford right now. I want the Rams to beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. I think that would be my dream scenario.
That'd be cool. I think everybody wants that besides front-runner Cowboys fans.
All right, let's go on then. Next game in the week is Saturday, 4:30, Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh. Cincinnati coming off an awesome win. T. Higgins with maybe the catch of the year. Absolutely incredible. Where Jake Browning's going down, throws off his back foot. T. Higgins comes back, mosses over a defender, spins around, and stretches over the goal line for a touchdown. Absolutely amazing. My favorite play. And I think I sent it. T. Higgins is expletive elite. Look, there's Anthony. His hands aren't even big enough to control the ball the way Higgins did.
I got these small hands. I could barely eat a Whopper. Dude, that was the coolest catch of the year. Dude, T. Higgins is back. That was awesome. So,
dude, Jamar Chase goes down. We get to see T. Higgins ask for more money by just dominating the league.
So there was the game yesterday, the Seahawks-Eagles game. DK Metcalf had 2 really cool catches, and Jigba at the end gets a touchdown catch. Really cool catch too. But I forgot about because I was like, who had that sick catch this week? That was the coolest catch of the year. T. Higgins, man. Thank you for refreshing my brain. That just got me excited.
So this is actually supposed to go to Connor. This is our signed T. Higgins helmet from Ken. But,
that's awesome.
You got the nice gold. Yeah, it's a nice helmet. I forgot to give it to Connor when he visited me for Audrey's baptism. But he will get it. It's because Connor and I have been saying T. Higgins is amazing.
He's so good.
Ever since we started the show. And Ken has been out here like, he was all right. He's pretty good. And then he eventually ate his crow.
I'm glad we're talking about these games now because my buddy texts after Metcalf and the Seahawks came down and made that amazing drive to beat the Eagles. He goes, the Seahawks have the most talented wide receiving core. I'm like, it's up there, but I'd probably take Cincinnati's. There's a debate for Jacksonville's, even though I put Jacksonville probably below the Seahawks just because Calvin Ridley's been really underwhelming, and so has Zay Jones. Christian Kirk has been Mr. Consistent there. And
the problem is Christian Kirk is not a star receiver.
He's not
really good.
He's very good.
He cannot carry. But no, Cincinnati. Give me Philly, Miami.
Yeah, but he was saying that they have a good 1-2-3, where Miami is just a good 1-2, and Philly could debate that too.
Braxton Berrios has had a nice game. Cedric Wilson's made nice plays. I think
Bengals
Miami
have a good
only uses 2.
Because who's the Bengals have 4 really good receivers.
Oh, the Bengals have Tyler Boyd, and then like random tight ends step up and play well, and now they even have Chase Brown out of the backfield. He's looked really good.
Yeah, I thought he was a receiver, but I mean that they have a sick receiving core. Like Tyler
Cincinnati
Boyd
all the way
could be a number one.
Of how awesome they are, they're not even 3-point favorites in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is falling apart at the seams. The receivers don't look like they want to play football there. Their running game isn't good. The Steelers, for all the Mike Tomlin hype and ability, look rough. And I'm just going to keep doing it, baby. Not Jake Browning. It's Jake Burrow. All day, every day. I don't care who he's throwing to. He's been money. That comeback was absolutely incredible. I'm not worried about Jamar Chase not being there. The Steelers don't have a good back end. Their defense is predicated on just pass rush. And with the way Jake Browning is throwing in rhythm on time, the pass rush doesn't matter much. And then also, if you keep blitzing, Chase Brown is apparently an elite screen player, and that's how he's getting all his yards. So 100% in Cincinnati, -1.5 all the way. Anthony, you should throw that pick in too.
I might do it on my bets, but The only thing I gotta say about the Steelers is that their only hope of winning that game is by doing what they always try to do and trying to decapitate wide receivers. They're a dirty team. Don't like them. Want to see them lose, but I'm staying away from that game for the most part.
All right, let's go on then to Saturday Night Football. Something you don't usually get to say. We got to do it last week, and it was a good game last week, wasn't it?
All three games I thought were pretty fun.
On Saturday.
No, wait. Back to the Steelers really quick. Mike Tomlin is a total D-bag for calling the timeout. I mean, shame on the Colts for taking a knee with like a minute and 40 left. They were up 2 scores. I know they were like, this game's over. But Mike Tomlin calling those 2 timeouts, and then the Colts in their own in the Steelers territory get the field goal to bust the under, just absolutely ruined my day. Like I had the worst Saturday because of that.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny because you could see Shane Steichen. He's like, "F this, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball," and then they got like 2 total yards.
Well, I wish they would have just kept like trying to like score a touchdown at that point, and then just.
Oh, dude, that'd be so funny, like a deep play action.
But they just kicked the field goal, go up by 3 scores.
Moving on, Buffalo versus the Chargers, Saturday Night Football. This game, if you told me it was going to be like the Christmas Saturday night game to start the year, I'd be so excited. Now I'm just like, I think Buffalo wins by 50.
See, I want to say that, I want to think that, but I'm staying away because they fired Staley, and dude, that team looked like they did not want to play for that guy at all the last 3 weeks. It's unfathomable how they did not use Eckler at all last Thursday. That guy needed to be fired a very long time ago. We all know it. Hope he does well coaching a high school or D3 team. But
back at John Carroll recruiting Connor Lucas again.
Yeah, this is a scary game because the Chargers have nothing to play for. Buffalo's on the road. They have everything to play for. They need a win to try to make that playoff run. I could see the Chargers trying to play spoiler, keeping it a close game, but that stick guy is a stick in the mud. Don't know if he's going to be any good.
It looks awful, everything they have in LA right now. And people say they don't have the talent. I think they have the talent. I think it's just so poorly coached and motivated that's the problem. And I think there could be a good revitalization with fresh-blooded coach. However, I am not betting on it this week against the Bills, who they look like the Bills of last year and 2 years ago, who want to take people's heads off. So let's go on. Next up, I think we are into the 1 o'clock window, and it is Detroit versus Minnesota. I don't have a pick in this game, but I cannot wait to watch this game. Detroit finally looked like Detroit once again, and they just put a gob-stomping on the who was it? The Broncos. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, anything they wanted to do at any time, they had it. Sam Laporta, or as Connor calls him, Sam Kelsey, looked phenomenal. 3 touchdowns. Hopefully that's not the case again because I'm playing against him in the fantasy playoffs now. But then the Vikings, who's the quarterback? Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins actually looked solid. He had a few bonehead mistakes, but he had a nice touchdown to Jordan Addison late in the game, and then I think he had another play where he's like getting tackled and hits Jordan Addison and slide for like a 60-yard touchdown. But I think the Vikings can actually make some noise and play well. But once you're on your 4th string quarterback, what are you going to do? So I think Detroit can take this at -3, but I'm not going to touch it because we've seen Detroit's floor bottom out.
Yeah, Nick Mullins is throwing the ball, slinging the ball, but I think Nick Mullen, the comedian's better than Nick Mullins as the quarterback, so we'll leave it at that.
Washington versus the Jets. First game we have a pick on, or first game you have a pick on. I will let you go first. Spreads -3, New York, totals 37.
I think this game is going to hit the under because the Jets' offense sucks, and the Commanders are going to have a tough time against that defense. Sauce Gardner is shut down corner. Terry McLaurin finally had a good week last week, but I think he's going right back to shutdown city against Gardner, and if they can't establish anyone of a run game, they're going to have a tough time against the Jets.
The Commanders have definitely been a team that show up when in garbage time, right? Or against the Eagles. Those are the only two times that team shows up. And I don't think there's going to be garbage time against the Jets because, to your point, like that offense isn't going to score either. This game could be 2-0 for all I know, or like
the first
like
2-0.
The first 2-0 ever. Maybe a 3-2 win.
Could be.
We'll see. But Sam Howell has been a guy I've liked a lot, and he's not it, man. And the thing is, he throws bad. He makes bad decisions, and against a good defense, that's a big problem. And against a defense that creates pressure, that's an even bigger problem because he does not, in terms of pocket presence and awareness, have the ability to get out of that. But also, the Jets are going to be driving in mud until they do something new with this offense. Nat Hackett should not be your coordinator. Aaron Rodgers should not, at 40 years old, off an Achilles, should not be your, magical elixir that solves everything. Until they come up with a better answer to their problems, I think this is just going to be a team that doesn't look great. And here we are, under 37, absolutely happy to take it. My only fear is that, there's 4 or 5 defensive touchdowns in this game. I'm actually more scared of that than there being 3 offensive touchdowns. So let's move on then. Next up in our list, Green Bay versus Carolina. Anthony, you have Green Bay -4.5 taking down the red-hot Carolina Panthers after they did us a big favor and got Arthur Smith on the hot seat.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I mean, it's the Carolina Panthers. They beat a very bad, poorly ran Atlanta offense last week. Played good defense. I don't know what's going on in Atlanta, but I think Jordan Love, he could throw the ball all over that defense, and -4.5 is very generous. Like I could see that being a -6.5, -10, -9.5, but just because they're coming off their first win in a while, like it doesn't make sense. Atlanta we know who they are. They're a team that just blows games. They're trying to sniff the playoffs in a poor division, but I think Carolina's getting a generous spread this week, but they should be at like +9.5 underdogs.
Wow. So the only reason, like, I can't buy Jordan Love, man. I keep seeing him do these things where it's just like he has games where he looks out of this world and then games where it doesn't look great. And I wonder if that's great coaching setting him up, but also I can't see Carolina scoring more than 4 points. Like, it's just one of these things where I can't see either of these teams doing well.
The Packers have a good defense too, so it's like Bryce.
They have a good defense. They're poorly coached though.
Yeah.
They gave up 34 to Baker Mayfield.
They looked good recently. Last week was kind of a biff, but dude, Baker's been good this year. Like offense is overachieved, and that defense in Tampa is underachieved.
Baker, we'll get to Baker in a minute, but I'll yell about that. All right, because everyone knows my stance on Baker Mayfield. He should be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys with how I feel. Okay. Anything else?
Nah, that's it.
All right, Cleveland versus Houston. I have Cleveland +2.5. I'll have a full article coming out on this, and let me tell you what, the world is on Houston per the Action Network. I think 90% of the bets or 95% of the money. It's absolutely ridiculous how much people are buying into Houston this week. One, as of this moment, CJ Stroud is a question mark. He's in concussion protocol. It is harder to clear that than ever. So at this moment, I am still in on Cleveland +2.5. Obviously, CJ Stroud can swing things a whole lot, and we'll see how the line moves, but keep that in mind. Case Keenum is not a good mobile quarterback, or he can't move well, and Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith are going to have so much fun taking him down over and over again. I think Case Keenum made the joke that he told Myles Garrett if he ever plays against him when they were on the Browns, please, after 2 sacks, that's all you get against me. That's all I ask for, all right? Just take me down twice, and then we're cool. So I don't think that'll be the case, but Myles Garrett had 12 pressures on Justin Fields last week. None of them converted into sacks. That regresses to the mean, and he is going to eat alive Houston. And Houston, the problems at their receivers are huge. Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz are their only viable threats for right now. Nico Collins isn't healthy. Tank Dell isn't healthy. If they are, those are game changers. Their athleticism, their quickness. But until they're back, I think the Browns corners are just going to shut down whoever's running routes. And the Browns pass rush is going to get there. And Joe Flacco is going to turn the ball over 2 times, give up 2 scores, but it won't matter because he's going to come back and score 2.5 times. Just like he did, feeding David Njoku. So I am in Cleveland plus 2.5. I'm going to keep riding these backup quarterbacks until it starts to bite me in the butt.
I like it. Let's go Cleveland, baby. Oh, hold on. I didn't do it right.
There you go.
There we go.
That's what we're looking for. Oh man, I hate being like a homer, but it's really the Browns defense that I think is just so exceptional that it's not getting the credit it deserves, because you see teams like the Jets who have a great defense and the Patriots who have a good defense, and they can't do anything and cover spreads. However, the Browns have somehow found a way to do so despite their offense committing so many turnovers, which is why I think they always have these values in terms of against the spread betting.
Yeah. The system quarterback, I mean, it's huge. And Joe Flacco, as a Browns fan who's watched every game this year, the offense looks completely different with him at the quarterback. So I know he's made some mistakes against Jacksonville. I think the one pick was not his fault. So I think he's going to clean it up. I think he's got to clean it up this week if they want to beat Houston.
I don't know. As of right now, like I said, if Houston's at full health, I'm more scared. As of right now, we'll see.
Comfortable.
But to your point, I wrote about it in my article. I said, dude, Cleveland's offense looks totally different, and it's because they are truly running a different offense. They are not. They can throw the ball differently than they have, due to Joe Flacco's like maturity as a quarterback. However, the downsides are, he lacks mobility. But apparently the big play threats there, that bomb to Cooper where he was rolling around and sprinting. It's hilarious. I loved watching that.
That small, like that was a sick play.
All right, so Anthony, why don't you tell us why? We go on now, and you are full on trying to get Arthur Smith completely fired instead of just on the hot seat. You have Indy -1, or it's +1 in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, they get a point. That's even better. No, it doesn't matter. A point, 6 points. I think especially if Jonathan Taylor plays this week, Indy's a no-brainer. Their defense is good. Their offense is rolling. Minshew mania. I'm on that bandwagon. They've won. I think they've covered 2 out of the last 3 weeks. They look good against a pretty good Steelers defense. They're scrappy. They play tough. They want to win. They've got playoff hopes. Atlanta has playoff hopes, but their head coach doesn't. Their head coach stinks. He's going to find a way to not feed his playmakers, and they're going to lose this game outright. I think it could be a touchdown, but the Colts just look like the better football team. That's why I'm picking them.
I don't blame you. Like, they absolutely do. My biggest fear is actually Taylor Heineke coming in to start, because that means, similar to the Browns having a new offense, the Ravens will have a new offense because they can't run, Desmond Ridder, go run around for 10 minutes and then throw a pick. They actually have to run a drop back style offense.
Right.
Moving on. Oh, speaking, Tyler Heineke getting the start is obviously because Arthur Smith doesn't know what he's doing. He flip-flops quarterbacks twice in the middle of the year, and you can feel the hot seat. So very, very excited. I know I mentioned it previously, but I want to keep emphasizing, just the way Connor would. Arthur Smith is on the hot seat, and I hope he gets fired.
Yeah, Atlanta fans. My one buddy's an Atlanta fan. He's like, he has to be fired after this week, right? I'm like, we'll see, but he is the silver spoon boy. He is.
His dad has got to have some John Gruden level-esque dirt on the Falcons owner. Oh, that's probably wrong and inappropriate. I might have to clip that. All right, so now let's move on. Next up, we have, where was I?
Seattle, Tennessee.
Seattle versus Tennessee. Seattle and Drew Lock right off that awesome win. Next up, they are 3-point road favorites in Nashville Total's 41.5. Neither one of us have a pick on this game. I will say, though, I was thinking about going to take Seattle -3, but Tennessee, man, this is a game that they win. Like,
It's a trap
Seattle
game.
Seattle has a good win. They're building momentum. They need to win. And Tennessee just sits there and is like, you know what? I'm Nuke Hopkins. I'm going to have 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Or I'm Derrick Henry. I'm going to bust out a 75-yard touchdown because that's what we do randomly. And they just play tough. They play physical. Mike Vrabel always has those guys ready to go. So I'm fading this game. Like you said, it's a trap game. While I do like Seattle in this spot, I am scared of kind of the uncertainty.
Yeah, and I hope D-Hops has a huge game. As a fantasy owner in the playoffs, I want him to have the best game possible. I don't know if Will Levis is going to play, but it's going to be a fun game to watch. Like, the only thing I might touch in this game is the over, because I could see both offenses just having a really good day. But Tennessee's defense is tough, and Seattle's defense looked a little bit better against Philly last weekend. So
one thing to watch is if Will Levis is playing, which is hilarious because like Malik Willis isn't very good, and that can be a huge swing. Going on then, now it is no longer 1 o'clock on Sunday. It is now 4 o'clock, and we are looking at Jacksonville versus Tampa Bay. And I told you like 5 times, dude, I want to take Jacksonville in this spot so bad. But after what we've seen, I am scared for Trevor Lawrence's leg. I don't know what's going on. He has not looked like himself since whatever happened a few weeks ago. And he was, carried off a field instead of carted and all that stupid drama that sports media shows talk about. Unlike us, we give you the real stuff.
See,
go ahead.
I think Trevor Lawrence has looked okay. I think what's killing them right now is Doug Peterson. He's kind of shooting himself in his own foot every game. Like last game, they should have won that game potentially. They left a lot of points on the board, and they don't run the ball nearly enough as they should. They don't try to set themselves up for like 2nd and 5, 2nd and 7, like favorable positions. It's always 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10. Hey, we're going to throw it to Evan Ingram or Calvin Ridley on the outside. They don't have reliable Christian Kirk anymore. They're in a really weird spot because they could easily lose this division if the Colts decide to win out or if the Texans win out. And Jacksonville's defense is kind of bad, and Baker's been cooking. So it's a scary game for Jacksonville.
All right, so I mentioned talking about Baker now, and Baker is 10,000% a Pro Bowl caliber, great quarterback when there is absolutely no pass rush pressure. And we've seen that the last few weeks. He's been comfortable. It's been easier on him, and he's been wheeling and dealing. Feeding Chris Godwin last week, hitting big deep shots to Mike Evans. My problem with Baker Mayfield is when the stakes step up a little bit, that's when he collapses. And I think Jacksonville is a game where that should be the case. However, Anthony, to your point, the Jags offense looks hampered mightily without Christian Kirk. Like Calvin Ridley has not been that one-on-one win versus man coverage regularly. Christian Kirk is their slot deep crosser guy who's going to get 12 targets, 8 catches, 80 yards, maybe bust one out. More on Tampa Bay. This team just does too well in certain games and tanks in others. It all comes down to pass rush, and Josh Allen is one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Their defensive backs have graded well according to PFF, but I have not really seen that translate. I think teams have been able to pass the ball a lot better than I expected. And then even the Ravens just lined up and just said, we're better than you. We can do whatever we want offensively. And they didn't have a monster game, but I thought they were regularly productive. So more than I thought they should be for the talent versus talent matchups. So here I'm just going to hold my breath and take a pass and then move on to the next game, Dallas versus Miami. And here we go. Miami is 1.5-point home favorites going against Miami's 1.5-point home favorites with a total of 51, and I have the under in this game because I think of Dallas and Miami in a similar vein, and that is both of these teams love to run up the score and then do nothing. Or or like those are the options. They can either blow a team out or not produce. I don't think that we're going to have a back and forth neck and neck game where it's, 31-28, last team with the ball wins. I think what's going to happen is one of these teams is going to win the game something like 27-13. I don't know which one because that's who these guys are. When one of them's clicking, like when Miami's clicking and their pass rush is going, they're able to run the ball in advantageous sets. They look phenomenal. When the Cowboys are clicking and CeeDee Lamb's cooking, and then they start working in Rico Dowdle, their pass rush is getting on. They're awesome. However, when you put a little crack in that armor, they don't look like the same team, and that's why these guys, there's one combined win against a team over 500 for these two teams. So I am just not in on either of them. I'm taking the under. Someone's going to crap the bed, and I wish I could say it was the Cowboys, but now they're coming off a tough loss, so they might be the team that's hot.
Yeah, I think if there was a team to blow the other team out, surprisingly, I would take Dallas just because their defense is better and they have a manageable offense. It's just tough because if Tyreek plays and the Dolphins are clicking, that offense could put up crazy numbers. But
and if they do, the Cowboys won't because that's who the Cowboys are.
It's just such a weird game. Like it's a game you want to be good, but it's gonna kind of suck. It's gonna suck. I don't know.
This is the New Year's Eve of games. It has the hype and potential for fantastic, viewing purposes, and then it's always a letdown because you realize you have to stay up till midnight. But anyways, let's go on then. Arizona versus Chicago. Now, this is a game I don't have a pick on because these teams are both volatile. They're both great, all over the place. But Chicago's looked legit. Arizona, their offense has looked so much better with Kyler Murray at the helm. So I am very excited to watch. Honestly, this is the game that once Dallas versus Miami becomes 14-0 and I'm not as interested, I'm going to turn on this game instead.
Yeah, I could see this game hitting the over too, if anything. Just because both offenses are starting to click, but it should be a fun game. Both teams don't really have much to play for. Justin Fields is probably just playing for a job somewhere else. But
Kyler Murray and Justin Fields are both playing for jobs technically.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't get it.
I want Justin Fields to stay. I think Chicago's shown enough good things, and their defense has stepped up a lot.
They just need an offensive line.
4 points is a lot for a team that constantly shoots himself in the foot.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look. Next up, the game that no one should ever watch this week: New England versus Denver. Denver wants to win game 17-10, and New England wants to score at most 10 points in a game. And here we are. They're facing off against each other. The only good thing about this game is that I have Denver's defense. So they're at home against an awful offense. So I'll be scooping up some fantasy points. But in terms of actual football, just next channel. This game's not going to show up on your red zone. So yeah, I'm sorry. I have nothing nice to say about how these teams look right now, and I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, I feel bad for the commentators, too, who are going to be the only people at the stadium Sunday. It's going to be a rough one to watch. It's going to be a rough one to commentate. I'm with Steve Smith, too. Jerry Jeudy is rough. He stinks. I always watch that video where Steve Smith's talking trash on Jerry Jeudy, and I'm like, he's right. Everything he's saying is right. Jerry Jeudy's he's overhyped, overrated. Sutton's,
dude. I love Jerry Jeudy. I loved him coming out of college because I think he's one of the best route runners in the NFL. I want him to be a second contract hero. I want him to be like, no one believes in me. I'm going to get a second deal that's like 3 years, $40 million, because that's the state of the NFL wide receiver. Like $10 million a year is a huge discount. If you remember, people like Curtis Samuel have 7. Marquez Valdes-Scantling's on an $11 million deal. So I think someone's going to scoop him up. Maybe as like a T. Higgins replacement in Cincinnati. Huh? That could work. And because T. Higgins is going, he's cashing in big, dude. 5 years, $100 million is going. That's going in his bank account.
After that,
all the best to T.
After that catch last week, he's like, "Give me the money."
Absolutely. If the Browns, the Browns are in cap. It's a big cap hole.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. And so I wish the Browns could scoop up T. Higgins and replace Amari Cooper. Not that I think Amari's good, but he's just getting older, and you could get T. Higgins ramping into his prime. But it is what it is. We can't do that. So all the best to both of those guys. But don't you not believe in Jerry Jeudy. I still won't give up on him, even though
I don't believe in him.
I like players way too much. That's probably why I struggle in fantasy a lot. All right, next up we have the Raiders versus the Chiefs. What's Sunday night football? What game's Sunday night football?
Is it?
Are you kidding me? That's the Patriots versus Broncos.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's a rough one. Sorry, NFL. This won't be on your red zone.
Matt's probably upset as you know what because they didn't flex that game.
I'm surprised he's not screaming about
Matt,
this
if you're
yet.
watching this, we want that game flexed too.
It's the first time we agree.
Get it out of there. Put the Browns versus the Texans. I don't care if Stroud plays or not.
Moving on to Christmas Day, 1:00. Raiders versus Chiefs. Unfortunate that this is our 1:00 game.
It's gonna be boring.
I do not have a take on it, but the Chiefs, we were talking pre-show. Chiefs aren't exciting. Raiders are trying to be boring because it's been working for them. And I know they just put up 100 points last week, but I don't think they do it again. That was a fluke against a team that had quit on its coach. So I am just saying pass on 10-point spread, 42-point total. The Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes continues to wheel and deal, drop perfect passes, but you know what? At some point, it doesn't matter when your players aren't making the plays they need to.
I want to look up the stats on, has a team ever been a minus or a plus 9.5 dog after coming off a 40-point win? Like,
no.
And Kansas City looked terrible last week. Like, not last week, but the week before. And the week before that. But, I mean, they didn't even look good last week. They looked okay. They looked like a team that could beat a bad team, which is what they're going to do next week. But 9.5, it's bait for sure. I'm staying away from that game. But if I did have to pick anything in that game, 9.5, I don't see it being that high scoring of a game. I could see 9.5 being very possible.
I said that last week about Chiefs Patriots, and we all know whose bank account's hurting now.
Now we're going on to my game of the week. I love Philly minus 7.5 against the Giants, who might be DeVito-less. I need to be able to cue that. I just the Giants stink. The Eagles are coming off some tough losses. Jalen Hurts, hopefully he's not sick boy next week. Hopefully he's not throwing up dumb passes. Getting picked.
Dude, there was a zero blitz. He chucked it to AJ Brown. It wasn't a pick, but it was just 10 yards over his head.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Devonta Smith was underneath with a it was just a simple drag route. His guy was 5 yards off of him. He could have had like a 50-60 yard gain. And instead, Jalen Hurts is like, I'm just gonna chuck it to AJ Brown. Like, dude, come on.
Philly
It's been rough. I don't know. Jalen Hurts, I want to see more. I've been underwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, this team is I think we know who they are. They're a team with a quarterback
they're the Philadelphia Eagles.
Who's capable. Like he's like the running Tua. Like, I don't know. Sometimes he hits these crazy good passes, but they need to get back to that run them down your throat football, because early in the year when they were on that crazy win streak, they were running the ball so efficiently. DeAndre Swift was an absolute animal. Lately, he's been non-existent because they go down early in games and give up on the run game. Like, stick to your run game. It's what is going to keep Jalen Hurts from getting blitzed 24/7. And they could do that against the Giants. The Giants suck.
I want to see them utilize the whole field more. And by that, I mean just like they have Hurts and Swift to run the ball in general. And then they have deep threats. But they don't utilize like the middle of the field, and they don't utilize like a solid screen game. If they do, it's just like based off RPO action. And I don't know. Shane Steichen, you can feel that Shane Steichen isn't there. And because Steichen's making magic out of Gardner Minshew. And Jalen Hurts has regressed tenfold since they gave him the contract and everything. And it's obviously like, you shift the offense. The players are still fantastic, but I don't know. Just ever since teams have AJ Brown stopped being 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, Jalen Hurts does not look like a star quarterback to me. And at the end of the day, if he's a $250 million quarterback, you got to earn it. And I just think he has not. And then everyone's going to come at me and say, but he has 100 touchdowns. Yeah, half of those are the freaking tush push. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the tush push and the creativity of finding an unstoppable play. But don't tell me your quarterback is the GOAT because of, them falling in the end zone better than anyone else.
What works, but they got to start winning some more games. They want to get that.
They got to start showing that they can beat legitimate teams. They are falling into that Cowboys hole. Speaking of legitimate teams, we get the best in the AFC and the best in the NFC in primetime Christmas Day. Now, that is a holiday gift from St. Nick. Coming down the chimney, Baltimore versus San Fran. San Fran at home, only a 5-point favorite, which is interesting because when they went to the Eagles, they were 3-point favorites, which would mean they're like a 7-point home favorite against Philly. And now the market's caught up or something, and they are giving a lot of credit to Ravens' recent success. Only 5 points. You and I are both on this game. So you go first. Why do you got San Fran?
Well, all right. So Baltimore, I think technically they have the best record in the AFC. I think they're kind of fraudulent at times, and it's because of their quarterback. I think Lamar Jackson's great. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm a Browns fan, but I don't think that the Ravens can hang with the best team in the NFL. Like the 49ers looked like the Crimson Tide when Nick Saban was the most dominant college football team in college. Like San Fran looks that good. When they got Chase Young, they stepped up huge. That bye week, ever since then, they've just been demolishing teams. Doesn't matter if they're the Eagles, doesn't matter who they are. Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in football. Brock Purdy is on an MVP race tear. They have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. That offense the line's good. I think Lamar Jackson's gonna get pressured a lot, throw some picks. They're gonna play a lot of contain against him. They don't have a super big threat. They don't have Mark Andrews anymore. Give me San Fran.
Yeah, dude, I am with you. San Fran. First of all, like you said, they have monster edge rushers, and that's how you contain Lamar Jackson with Chase Young and Nick Bosa not letting him escape the pocket out those ways. And then in terms of receivers, Baltimore was we talked about, dude. Baltimore was so hyped coming in the year. You got Zay Flowers, Odell, blah 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 blah. It was all not great. Isaiah Likely has been a phenomenal fill-in for Mark Andrews, but it's still like they can't win one-on-one on the outside. That's the bottom line. Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr., and Zay Flowers are not going to beat the 49ers receivers or 49ers corners in time for that pass rush to be nullified. And then when it comes to defense versus offense, San Fran is legitimately like they just have way too many options and weapons. And we always talk about Brock Purdy as a legitimate starting quarterback in the NFL. And someone on Twitter, I know Sam Munson brought it off on the PFF podcast, that they did a 2-dimensional look at Purdy's analysis. One was, how does Purdy do in less than in throws under 2 seconds, aka when he runs, the quick stuff to Samuel and let them do all the work, versus how does he do in like over 3-second throws. And what you find is that no matter what, he's awesome. So people just blame him or like hold it against him that he's good at like Kyle Shanahan makes his life easy. They don't reward him though when he makes the great plays. And like, yes, you have great players, so it's easier to do so. But like Christian McCaffrey's receiving touchdown that was like 40 yards uncovered was because Brock Purdy escaped and made a nice play, a good throw. I mean, we've seen plays when a guy throws the ball 30 yards downfield. You don't know if it's going to hit just because like it's harder to hit those throws. They're downfield. The Bears last week in like the first or second quarter had a guy streaking down the middle of the field, overthrown. Then there was another game where a guy was streaking down the middle of the field wide open and it was overthrown. because the safety came up and tried to pick the ball. I wish I had more details, but there's two crystal clear ones in my head. Anyways, Brock Purdy's doing it all. I am okay with him winning MVP if Christian McCaffrey got it. I'm mad Nick Chubb isn't around, because if Nick Chubb was healthy, he would be the MVP.
Browns would have a couple more
hands
wins
down.
too.
The Browns would be neck and neck for first place in the AFC, and everyone would be saying Nick Chubb is definitely the reason why.
And here's the thing: Joe Flacco looked way better than Lamar Jackson did against that Jacksonville defense. Baltimore looked like they could have easily lost that game to Jacksonville if Jacksonville kicks a couple field goals they should have and makes a couple field goals they should have. I'm not buying in on Baltimore being this good of a team. They're just beating the bad teams. San Fran is demolishing the good teams. The eye test, I know a lot of people don't like to go off of it. It's there.
All right, so with that, we have all of our analysis done for the Week 16 in the NFL.
More than anybody deserves.
What?
We did. We gave them more than they deserved, is what I'm saying.
Do you know why you don't deserve more? Because you have not liked and subscribed and entered into our JJ Watt rookie card giveaway contest.
Full crap. Really.
Check it out. Sign up. I'm telling you guys, you gotta understand. It's a snowball effect. Once we get this out the way, then we get the stuff people actually want. Ken has things because he has a compulsive buying problem, and we appreciate that he's letting the show benefit from it. So once those start coming, once we get to this, guys, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You gotta believe me, it gets so much better. Sign up. JJ Watt rookie card giveaway. You sign up by being a subscriber. So thank you so much to everyone that already has. Like and comment. Let us know who you're watching this Christmas and what you need to happen for fantasy, for betting. We are here to root with you, even if it's against us. Well, I'm going to root for my picks over yours, actually. That's a lie. I'm sorry. Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I'm sorry.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy holidays.
Happy Kwanzaa.
There you go.
Happy everything else.